What are you doing to protect yourself from non-payment? We already had a large commercial job notify us that they are not paying any of their vendors.
Yeah, I saw that question on some stuff you had submitted earlier, Tovia, and that's a scary one. I think specifically this question was about a large commercial client that just said they weren't going to pay their vendors. Frankly, I'm surprised with just kind of a blanket announcement, we're not going to pay you, because just like we all have access to payroll protection and different things, that building owner has access to the same resources we do. So it seems kind of arbitrary that a building owner, so I would be very suspicious of their motives. Is that really a financial decision or just trying to capitalize on the current situation and slow pay people? So I would look at the nature of my relationship with that client, number one. But in terms of how we deal with it, because that's one thing long term, should I have this person as a customer, what do we do today? Number one, I was just like, I would be the squeaky wheel that gets the oil. I would be on the phone like, I got to get paid, I got to get paid, I got to get paid. And you have to protect your interests. Now, depending on the relationship with the client, you might do something a little more aggressive, like file a notice of intent to lien or something like that, or maybe have I wouldn't file a lawsuit at this point in the middle of this craziness, but maybe have your lawyer send a letter saying, hey, you owe this money and this is a small business and they really, really need the money, every bit as much as you do. They perform the services. They incur the expense for labor and materials, and we really need to try to get them paid. So those are some practical things. But in terms of protecting ourselves, again, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Cash is king, and I have been, like, in my business, for all of my businesses, I've been getting my hands on every ounce of cash I can get. I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, I went out and got it's not hard money, but for what they charge for it might as well be hard money, through Lending Tree and Blue Vine, a couple of these business lenders. And I secured a couple $100,000 in lines of credit because I don't want to have to tap into my personal wealth, my personal money, because I'm going to get, number one, it's down 30% from what it was a month ago. The last thing I want to do is to sell and take that money, penalties and all that. And I understand Gary had mentioned a week or two ago that some of that money is accessible to us without penalties and have some time to repay it. But the last thing I want to do is to sell investments right now in this market. So I wouldn't borrow some money. So I would suggest that, number one, if you got a client that's not going to pay, long-term, reassess the relationship. Short-term, make some phone calls. Squeaky wheel gets the eel. Don't take no for an answer. I mean, just keep calling, and plead with them. We've been telling, for example, well, when we have cancellations, and we're still having a few here and there, and I told my team, I said, listen, when somebody calls them to cancel, I want you to have this conversation with them. I want you to say, Mr. Homeowner, I understand you're concerned about people being in your home right now. Maybe there's some uncertainty with work and different things, but here's the thing. Number one, we're doing everything in our power to protect you and your family, with the face mask, with the disinfectant, with whatever. But the other thing is, we're trying hard as a small local business to keep our people employed, because they've still got mortgages, they've still got children who need food and diapers and all. We're doing everything we can to provide jobs and income for our people. So if there's any way that you can see fit to keep this thing on the schedule, you would have our undying gratitude and appreciation. Now, they might still say, no, hit the bricks, I don't care. But let's try to appeal to their sense of humanity, first. I would take the same tack with this building owner. I would go drive over there if you can find them, or call them and say, listen, I understand you're in a jam, but I've got men and women I'm trying to feed too. I've got men and women we're trying to keep employed. Let's appeal to their sense of equity and social contribution. Like, listen, we're all in this together. And if you could give me a partial payment, if you could give me something, give me some explanation, but just a blanket, we're not paying you, hit the bricks. I mean, come on, that's just not that's not kosher at all. But I would examine that relationship if they're that hard-headed. But get your hands on cash, bug the daylights out of them until they pay it.